Looks like he played 3 6Xers, so we'll just try and get through those in this first video. First hand guy 3Xs the button and gets a call out of the small blind. Obviously, this guy should have a very tight range if he's calling out a small blind versus 3X. This guy donks at it and gets reshoved on a relatively dry board. Pretty interesting hand for the first hand of a 6Xer. Usually people play a little tighter in these. But obviously there's quite a bit of diversity in spin and goes. He is looks like he's going to min raise when he's raising small blind versus big blind. I generally 2.5x, but I think it might not be completely arbitrary, but it's relatively arbitrary. Basically a stylistic decision. Pretty good board for him to see bet on. And he gets min clicked on, which is pretty awkward. I mean, this guy's basically polarizing himself, just representing an ace, so it's whether or not Kokiric believes him. Not a bad spot if he doesn't believe him. Say if this guy bets 120 here, Kokiric can just reshove and take it down a lot. Now the guy makes it a little bit too awkward to do anything. Well, obviously too awkward to do anything by potting it. So Kokiric just has to fold. That's probably fine. I might consider just folding on that flop, but it is a pretty awkward play by this guy, so I don't mind peeling and possibly making a play on the turn. Pretty loose call here with queen 4 off, but obviously you're getting odds, so it's never that far off to make calls in the big blind. Pretty interesting decision by Kokiric, given that this guy limps the button. I mean, this guy is going to represent this board a very high percentage of the time, so obviously a great position to make an aggressive play on this flop, given the equity that he has, even if, I don't know how to say this guy's name, Celio does end up having an ace. He's got a lot of equity. And obviously this guy's going to have air a lot here, so you're just going to take it down on the flop. A high enough percentage of the time that's going to be a super profitable play. This is something that I do that me and Kokiric have talked about. I like having this in my small blind limp range. I mean, I'm raising a lot of my high value hands, but this seems low ace X is just. I mean, if you're raising them and you flop an ace, it just seems like you don't end up getting that much value, given that it's so easy to put you on an ace X range. So I like to use it as deception. Yeah, I mean, when you limp here, and even when you do get raised, it's not a bad situation to just call the raise and get a lot of value on ace high boards. Just because if he limps and gets raised here, this guy's going to represent an ace high board a very high percentage of the time, so you're going to take down a lot of decent sized pots that way, and you're going to have a lot of deception on ace high boards even when it does get checked back. So I like this as a profitable play, a lot more profitable than raising ace X 20 bigs deep blind on blind. Relatively interesting decision here versus an open on the button and a 9 big reshove to re-ISO King Jack suited. Not miles ahead of this guy's range, but he's shown to be a pretty awkward player, so yeah, I would probably do the same. Yeah, I mean there's not much in this guy's range that's gonna just straight up dominate, and you still have 10 bigs if you lose, so not a bad idea. Um, this might be a decent spot to check back, given that you just flop all of it, and you're going to represent an ace or a lot of ace X's in your range, so this guy's going to fold to a c-bet a high percentage of the time. But obviously you want to try and get as much value as possible, so setting up a triple barrel isn't a bad idea either. Keeping in a lot of draws that this guy might have, like 9-10s and king 10s and queen 10s. Maybe he'll peel 9-7, you at least get a c-bet in. But yeah, I might try and check back here, or I might check back here and play 2 streets. Pretty easy decision when the guy shoves 22 bigs into ace queen suited. Shows down ace 9 suited. That's pretty convenient. A lot of times when people are shoving 20, 25 bigs blind on blind, it's going to be a lot of small pairs, so you're never super excited in that situation, given that their range, that's most of their range, but obviously stuff like that is in there, and you're excited when it is. And looks like that's it for this match. We'll go to the last one of the higher multipliers that he played during the session. Or last one that he won, at least. I don't know how many 6Xers he played during the session, but I know that he won 3 of them. Looks like he's going to use some pretty aggressive sizing. This is what I do too, so trying to get as much value as possible out of a high equity hand. Unlike earlier, he decides to c-bet his middle pair. Pretty wet board. I might check it back, but I don't mind c-betting either. Pretty in between. Keep draws in. Decides to check back on the ace high board, or on the ace on the turn. I might barrel really small on the turn, because you might get some 7s to fold, and you might still be ahead of draws, so you might just be getting value anyways. And it makes it pretty easy to get the check back on the river. Playing it the way that he played it, though, does present the opportunity for this guy to bluff river with a lot of the draws that he could have that miss. So either or is probably fine. Pretty passive play here. A lot of people would reshove 25 bigs with ace-8 suited. I like the idea of just calling, given that this is just such a good position being in the big blind, three-handed. You just have so much leverage, and reshoving here, this guy's calling range is going to have him dominated a lot, so a lot safer decision to just play it in position. Decides to check back on the turn when he picks up a spade draw, obviously thinking that he's probably ahead on showdown anyways, so he decides not to complicate things. But I think that I would probably bet here just because it presents the opportunity to extract more value when you do get there, and you're in position anyway, so you can just check back and take it down on showdown a lot of the time anyways. Pretty interesting. He decides to pot it, which is a pretty good idea because he doesn't really represent anything here because he probably would have bet his 9s on the turn. So he's basically polarized to a flush. So if this guy has anything or ace high, it's a pretty easy hero for him. And he does, in fact, hero with a 7. I like it. I like the sizing. I'd probably 3/4 pot it, but he gets a little more value by potting it. Gets flatted from the small blind. Um, it's a pretty good board for him. This is going to smash some of this guy's range. See how he reacts to c-bet. When this guy just shoves, though, it's actually pretty awesome. Probably a fist pump because this guy's probably just going to be calling with his queen tens. He's obviously reshoving king jack, so you're not super excited, but he is going to shove a lot of his worse ace x's that we're pretty excited to get in against. Some of his flush draws. Overall, pretty good situation. Pretty aggressive. This guy just comes out and shoves 14 bigs, so something to take into consideration. Probably a spot after he gets reshoved on limping. 14 bigs deep. It seems like this guy's pretty liberal with his shoving at this stack size, so maybe tighten up a little bit, limping the button. But Kokirik's got a little more curves than me. He keeps doing it. Pretty interesting c-bet here, or bet on flop here after limping in. I like to in limp pots, I like to reduce these situations to 2 streets just because this guy's going to check back a lot of his jacks to extract more value by check raising in this spot a lot. So I kind of like to minimize the damage that he can do and keep things pretty simple for me because a lot of turns he's going to stab at. So this is basically by checking this flop, you're inducing a little more bluffs than you're going to get compared to the value you're going to get betting. Maybe get 2 streets of value in this spot. And ends up just getting checked down. The 4. And that makes me look pretty dumb because obviously he gets a little more value than if he checks flop and bets turn. This guy, although this guy's probably still going to call turn, just assuming that Kokirik's going to be stabbing at this board at some point. Still trying at seven bigs deep to get a limp through. I like it. Tightish fold, folding Jack 8 suited to an 8 big shove. A lot of amateur players shove pretty tight, so I don't mind folding a spot like that. Obviously a correct shove with 9-7 suited. I'm guessing this works out for him. Alright, so we'll end the video here and go through some of the other hands in the next video. Thanks guys, see ya.